Hi everyone, this is Scott Nybakken for Dynamite Entertainment. I'm here today with Paulina Ganoucheu, the creative dynamo behind the upcoming new series crossing over the Thundercats and the Powerpuff Girls. Paulina, thanks for joining us on the channel.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. This is so fun.
Now, I know you have a long history with the Powerpuff Girls, as you were the artist for the first story arc of Dynamite's Powerpuff Girls series, and then you went on to write a later story arc as well as collaborate with your sister Savannah on the girls' Valentine's Day special, which has the best title ever, of course, the Moi Moi Kissy Face Valentine's Day special. But did you have any prior association with the Thundercats before you started working on this title?
Growing up, I loved them. They re-aired the Thundercats show on Toonami in 1998, which was the same year that Powerpuff Girls came out. So it definitely reintroduced Thundercats to a whole generation, my generation, young millennials. So I definitely loved it my whole life. But this is my first professional experience with Thundercats, and I'm very happy to be here.
So when you were watching the animated shows, did you ever draw any mashups between the Powerpuff Girls and the Thundercats as a young artist? And if so, did any ideas from those early efforts make it into the new series?
I never did, but because I didn't have the artistic chops to draw Thundercats because it was so like realistic and there was so much anatomy. And I was like 10, so I was like, I can draw the Powerpuff Girls, but I can't draw the Thundercats yet.
Hmm.
So, but I would say no, but I definitely did sneak in my favorite characters and some of my favorite like episodes um, into this series. So partially, but nothing like a fan art mashup because that would have been cool. That would have been really cool.
So readers are going to get a sneak preview of Thundercats Powerpuff Girls on Free Comic Book Day, which is Saturday, May 3rd, when the prologue issue number 0 story hits comic book stores everywhere. But ahead of that, can you give us a quick synopsis of the plot for the series and what lies in store for the Titans of Townsville and the last survivors of Thundera?
Yeah, absolutely. I can give you a brief overview. So it's the Powerpuff Girls get stranded on Third Earth somehow, and so most of their journey is a journey of getting home. But along the way, they're helping reunite the Thundercats who are broken and lost at this point. So yeah, it's about teamwork and journeys, and it's lots. It's really funny. It's goofy, so it's a lot of fun. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and the overall style of each of the two original cartoons was very different. Oh, but of course, they shared a central theme of heroes joining together to battle evil. Was it a challenge to fit the two storytelling titles together for the crossover? And did you have a natural affinity for one over the other?
When I was first brought this by Nate Cosby, our editor, who is the best, love you, Nate. I was nervous because they're so different in my mind. But honestly, when I sat down and started writing it, it came so quickly, and it would just worked way better than I expected. I think it's something about just both of the teams being very zany, and the stark contrast between the two blend together and kind of like set up a lot of jokes in a way that I really like. So yeah, it's way more fun than I expected. As far as affinity, I really, really love them both. Probably Powerpuff Girls edges it out like just a little bit, just because I was 10 when it came out and it's like peak era. So it's hard to not love the Powerpuff Girls, but I really love them both so much.
Now, like, yeah, you're an artist as well as a writer. So
Yes.
do you find that scripting a comic for someone else to draw is easier or harder than one that you're going to illustrate yourself? And related to that, how has the collaboration with the artist Coleman Engel for this new title been going?
I think initially when I started writing for other artists, the only issue I had was letting go of creative control because I'm so used to drawing it myself. So it's like I can see it in my head, but I can't force the artists into what they are going to draw. That changed really quickly, though. I think now in my career, being an artist as well as a writer, it sets me up to help the artist I'm working with on the book and to make it more palatable and just be more achievable in a way. Because I'm an artist myself, so it's maybe like a strap choice or maybe not, or to know not to overload the artist with like, oh, it's a page with like 1,000 people on it or something like that. So I think being an artist sets me up in a good way for being a writer also, for sure. And working with Coleman has been amazing. I've known him since college. He's an incredible draftsman and a professional, and I think he's one of the most underhired comic artists in the industry, and I think everybody should hire him. He's amazing, and I never worry about how he's gonna perceive my scripts or how he's gonna render them on the page, because I know it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, and speaking of art, a signature feature of the Powerpuff Girls are, of course, their gargantuan eyes. Without getting too far into spoiler territory, is there any possibility that we'll see a redesign of the Eye of Thundera somewhere in this series?
Like a Powerpuff Girl version of the Eye of Thundera. I can't say per se, but maybe, because that is a very funny idea.
And finally, like, if there were no legal barriers to worry about, which franchise would be your next dream team up for both of the Thundercats and the Powerpuff Girls?
This one is hard because I would never have expected to blend Thundercats and Powerpuff Girls, and it's like one of my favorite things now ever. But like as far as just like regular stuff, I mean the Thundercats and the Silverhawks need to hang out for sure, just to be the '80s together. Maybe like something with Gem would be funny because they're very different. So that might be something I would like to see. As far as Powerpuff Girls, maybe like PPG and like Samurai Jack would be cool. I really like both of those, and they're both in the same realm, so I think they would blend together well. But honestly, I'm game for anything because this is wild and it works. So why not? Anything's game.
That's right. Who knows what can happen?
Honestly, truly.
Well, Paulina, thank you for joining us and giving everyone a peek behind the scenes of this crossover of the century.
Yeah.
Thundercats Powerpuff Girls kicks off with this special prologue story in our free comic book day issue number 0. And issue number 1 of the series will be in stores in June. So make sure you pre-order it now. And be sure to follow Dynamite Comics on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and X to hear more about all of our upcoming releases. Thanks for watching.